Welcome to Le Jardin, the garden. My name is Bob Boissel, and today we're close to the end of spring and early summer, getting close to the holidays. And our mascots are all dressed up in red, white, and blue. And we're going to be doing some gardening later on. But these little pests, you might say, they really enjoy gardening with me and at the main garden. And we're going to let them go and have a good time and play around outside. And while we go in and do the gardening, and we're going to be looking at the garden that we just planted. We planted a number of crops, and we're going to have a good time. Well, the sun has finally made it out, and you can see all the water droplets on the plants. And try not to go into the garden much especially as the season progresses, because if any of your plants are diseases, they could be passed on very easily by you brushing against some of these plants, which are carrying the spores around after a rainstorm. All right, now I can see the insects are coming out, the butterflies and some of the bees we see here, and that's very nice because these are the pollinators that we're going to be needing for the tomatoes that we've been pushing into the ground within the past couple of hours. But the basil plant is very good to repel house flies, mosquitoes. What I do when I come out to the garden towards the evening is to take a couple of leaves of the basil plant, sort of rub them together and put them on my skin and on my face a bit to hopefully not get bitten by mosquitoes. They're also good for the asparagus bugs and also for the tomato hornworm. For our tomatoes this year, we put 2 onions on each side of the tomato plant, plus a marigold, and we also have basils between 2 tomato plants. So we have a protective shield to keep the bugs away from the tomatoes, especially the tomato hookworm, which will really devastate the tomatoes and the leaves of the plant. So just be aware of it, that basils can be very protective. We also have chives. They're good against Japanese beetles and aphids. We have radishes that are good for cucumber beetles. They'll keep those away. So when you do your cucumbers, we put radishes seeds in between the plants, so as they grow, we'll have better protection for the cucumbers. We have rosemary. That's also for the Mexican bean beetle, and mosquitoes and slugs. And we also for snails. Now, if you're having a problem with snails, a good way to try to get them is take a board, maybe a 2 by half-inch board, maybe 12 inches long, put it in the ground overnight, and in the morning turn it over, and you may see a number of slugs that you can harvest and then get them off the property. So just be aware that Mother Nature does have a protective system of plants for your crop, and use it wisely. So basil, chives, radishes, rosemary, depending on what you're growing, is the best bet for protecting your garden, instead of using the insecticides and pesticides. All right, let's go on to another subject. Now, we talked about growing tomatoes in pots. Now, here's a couple of them that I would probably recommend. The Red Robin tomato, it's a mature. It's about 55 days, which is very speedy, and it's about 12 inches tall. The Tiny Tim, especially for your containers, mature in about 60 days, and they're about 12 inches in height. Now, the Baxter Early Bush Cherry matures in 72 days, and it can grow from 18 to 36 inches. So you may need a cage in it to help support it with some, maybe some sort of stick to tie up to it, and they'll help in supporting that particular plant. But the other is only 12 inches, won't need any type of supports. Now, there was some individuals have asked me concerning what type of plants that are long bloomers and they stay with flowers for a long time. Well, let's start out. There are perennials and shrubs that do that, or a succession of these plants that will last for 2 or 3 months and will even go into the fall. And they have a sort of a wide selection of these. Now let's take a look at some of these. Some of the Shrubs, we have the butterfly bush. The Rose of Sharon is great in the month of August. It'll start from probably early August to right to the end of August, depending on the species that you get. Regalia is the same thing. They're good for July. The butterfly bush is good for a good 2 to 3 months, but it'll vary from variety to variety. Now the perennials, you could have it from late June right to early fall, depending on the variety that you get. You can have yarrow, Y-A-R-R-O-W, coreopsis, coneflowers. They have a wide variety of flowers and colors and so forth, and some of them are very spectacular, and they'll last a good 2 months, from anywhere from late July to almost up to frost by producing. Daisies, bee balm, stelladora, which is a daylily. So it's about 12 inches tall, yellow, and they'll start, well, let's see, this is getting towards the holiday. I would say late June to well into August, depending on the varieties. And when you look at these, look at the little tag on the bush or on the box that you get, and they'll tell you the time period from early summer to early fall, or midsummer to frost, or even late summer to frost. So just read the material on these tags that you see, or in the catalogs. You can, depending on where you get your materials from. But the biggest thing is zinnias. I've seen zinnias this year. They're growing from almost 10 inches to 4 feet. I mean, they're really tall. They come up almost to my shoulders, and they're good from midsummer to frost, and they come in a variety of colors. And what you do when the flower sort of dies away, you clip it and you dehead them. That's what they call, by removing the dead flower, you're deheading the plant, but you're getting more energy for the plant to give you more plants. All right, before we go on to other parts of the garden, I planted a number of tomatoes this year, and part of the process was, once I got the tomatoes out of their little canisters or plastic containers, I dig a hole, depending on the size of the tomato, just about a foot deep. I put the tomato in, and taking the lower, well, say 3 to 4 inches, if you have the tall type of tomatoes, leggy type tomatoes, remove the layers to almost to an inch and a half from the top, and everything else, all the leaves below that, should be eliminated, and put the plant into the hole just about 4 inches from the top. And then before I do that, I put a tablespoon of Epsom salt. This gives it the magnesium that it's needed. Also this year I found fertilizing for tomatoes. Sometimes you may have on your tomatoes what would be called a brownish or even darkish bottom of it and so forth, and that's being caused by lack of calcium. And what I would do this year, they have bone meal fertilizer spikes. Now you can put this at the bottom of these by powder mixture, or you can put these when the plant is in the ground, and just pressing 2 of these around the plant, so the plant will give the fertilizer, and you won't have any problems with the tomatoes lacking calcium and giving you that black-brown mass at the bottom of it. And this will help your planting of it very much. Now, the biggest thing with children, they're really fascinated on how things grow and what the results are, and it also introduces them where their food is coming from. Now, this sunflowers, these seeds are large enough so a child can actually put them in the ground. Now they have the sunflowers that will go from just about a foot in the ground to almost 12 feet in height. And I used to plant these with my grandchildren, especially the mammoth ones, the sunflower mammoths, and plant them on the edge of the property and show their rate of growth and then the results that will occur just about 2 months after they plant the seeds. And they would go out when they visit, or when we visit the property, the main garden area here, and see the progress of these plants and the final results. The kids are really happy to see this, and they really enjoy their results of it. Now we also have, I've seen this in the stores, these are packets. These are round, circular, this is called flower rocket, and this is herb rocket, where you would take this mixture, which is almost impregnated with seeds, you put them into a pot, or you can put them into a ground and water them every two days, depending. Again, watering is very important for your plants. Now these are annuals, and you can get flowers or you can get herbs. And if you put these in a large container, they'll just go into the top, put your soil in and water it, and you'll be surprised in the results. And let's see what it looks like. And basically this is what it is, and we can see the seeds are impregnated into the material here, and you'll just be putting that into the soil, putting dirt around it and watering it. Or from what I see here, you can actually unwrap it and strip it and just put it in a probably about 5 inches by 15 inches in length, and have a flower border or herb border for the children to enjoy and to observe, and how it's growing at this point. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, the summer bouquet has, let's see, they have cone flowers, California giant, cosmos, Mexican hat, glorious daisies, coreopsis, more cone flowers, purple cone flowers, Shastas daisies. It's quite a variety of mixture in this particular 15 inch by 5 inch little packet. Again, enjoy the garden with your children, and they'll have a lasting memory of growing their own crops and watching you create the gardens for them. Talking about plants, I do a lot of walking in the city, and during this early spring and up to this point, I've been taking pictures and video of the plants in the neighborhoods that I'm walking in, and they are quite spectacular this year, especially the trees and the plants and the shrubs, and even the tulips, and quite a bit of displays. So let's sit back and relax for the rest of the program and watch flowers, shrubs, and trees blooming in Melrose for spring. Well, I hope you enjoy this program for this season. My name is Robert Boissel. Have a good day. This is Le Jardin, the garden.